What if 1 year from now you are 40% happier? That's not fucking magic. That's science. According to positive psychology, 40% of your happiness is driven by daily mindsets you choose and the actions you take. Not your past, not your DNA, but how you live on purpose. And that's exactly what we do in Thrive Midlife. Hey, I'm Coach Kira. I created Thrive for women over 40 who are done doing it alone, sick of numbing or second guessing, and finally ready to build the confidence, connection, and meaning in this next chapter. Thrive is a 6-month science-backed group coaching experience that blends positive psychology, emotional regulation, neuroscience, creativity, and a wildly supportive crew of women. Inside, you'll get a full personal life assessment, 3 one-on-one coaching sessions to map your unique path with me, weekly group workshops with real tools, skills, and mindset practice, and a kickoff retreat in Madison, Wisconsin this fall with me. Think apple picking, pizza farms, goat petting, cider-fueled breakthroughs, and lots of cheese. So if you're looking for a place to learn, laugh, cry, unlearn, grow, and finally feel seen, empowered, and moving you forward, this is it. Learn the tools, feel the joy, build the friendships, find your worth, and start living like you fucking mean it. All of the information about Thrive is now available at thrivemidlifeprogram.com with the early bird discount through May 31st, 2025. Get in there. Life is weirdly a lot harder than we've been told. And midlife? That's a whole other can of worms that I was completely unprepared for. But here's the good news. There are so many new skills and mindsets that we can learn to make even the toughest days a little bit better. You just haven't learned them. Welcome to Thrive with Kira, a smart and square podcast for women in midlife that teaches the skills to get more joy and love in your life. Join me weekly as I teach science-based, smarty-farty topics and break them down into bite-sized lessons that you can apply to your life, all while sharing my own shit show life stories that you can learn from. I'll be talking regularly about getting more joy on a daily basis, thriving in midlife, yes, you can, figuring out menopause, healthy dating and relationships, building self-worth, growth mindset, adult friendships, and also just easy mindfulness. So we can stop just surviving and start learning how to thrive. Well, hello there, sugar pantses. Welcome back to my 5-part podcast series. Why did no one warn us about this shit? 5 midlife truths that hit hard. A special series right here on Thrive with Kira. By the way, I'm Kira. I'm a positive psychology practitioner. I'm a certified coach, a swear bear, a cheese lover, and I'm your new best friend. So in case you missed it, over the next 5 days, I'm dropping smart and sweary rants and revelations from my last 12 years of being in midlife, and of course, all of my years of coaching and teaching. And today's truth: fuck being the strong one, because being the strong one just isn't sustainable anymore. Not in midlife, but here's the exciting part: it's also not required. Let's get into it. Oh, hey there, Barb the Builder. I see you. I see you swooping in like a low-budget superhero with a questionably functioning nervous system, making appointments for people with 2 working thumbs in their own calendar. I see you picking up the slack at work because you're so dependable and you get it done so quickly. I see you checking in on your friend's cousin's dog because you once said, "Let me know if you need anything." I see you running tech support for your mom's iPad, rescheduling your dad's hearing check because the receptionist was rude, and diffusing a family group text with nothing but sheer willpower and a gif of a dancing corgi. I see you getting shit done because you know you can do it better, faster, and without complaints. Except for, of course, the ones in our head. You are the fixer. You are the helper. You are the unofficial family therapist, event planner, tech support, and grief doula. You are FEMA with a ponytail and days of dry fucking shampoo. And here's the shitty part: no one's even bringing you snacks. All while pretending you're not just one bad email or text away from moving to a cabin in the woods off-grid with a group of baby goats and alpacas. Because that's kind of the fucking dream. Am I right? Now here's the truth about this. You get to decide if this is your villain origin story or a wake-up call that something has to change. Because honestly, I'm a little worried about us Gen Xers. I see how tired we are, particularly the women, not just physically, but soul tired. The kind of tired that comes from being indispensable, but not actually supported. But I believe that midlife is a crossroads, and we get to decide to stop, to let go of the shit that's not serving us anymore, figure out what we do want now, and pivot. Or we can get bitter, we can get grumpy, we can isolate and hate the world. Well, good thing I'm not dramatic. But let's be honest here. So recently, just in the last bit, my Instagram is getting a lot more followers. I've been sharing new stuff. I've been trying to really focus on happiness inducing stuff because I am a positive psychology practitioner. And I would rather be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. But it is very interesting as more and more people are seeing my posts or my carousels, the comments. Oh, the comments. And ladies, they're not from men. No, ladies, they're not. They're from us. They're from grumpy, burned out, isolating, slightly bitter Gen X women who are exhausted and pissed. And you know what? We have every right to be pissed. We have every right to be pissed. Let me get into it. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this at all, but Gen X women are getting shit done. For years and years and years, I used to take pride in my strength, my put my head down, don't feel, just get it done as well as you can and move on to the next thing. It was like a badge on my Girl Scout or brownie uniform. I only made it to brownies, I'm not gonna lie. Still a fan of the cookies, though. But for years and years, I didn't need help. I didn't complain. Well, okay, I complained a little bit to my friends and things like that, and certainly in my head. And I didn't break down, or not at least when anybody could see it. And if I'm being honest about it, I kind of liked being the strong one. It felt safer and easier to stay strong, to stay silent. Because maybe if I could stay strong, maybe I could control the chaos. Maybe I wouldn't have to be vulnerable or judged or hurt. And here's what I didn't know at the time. That kind of strength is actually built on a lack of self-awareness, self-denial, holding everything in, pushing my emotions down, pretending I didn't need anything, and it kept me tired, alone, lonely, and just fucking sad. Here's what I didn't know at the time. That's actually not strength. It was me gripping control because somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling safe. And I think that that's just true for Gen X. I thought if I could manage everything and everyone around me, if I could fix it all, I could avoid being disappointed, abandoned, or just not enough. But it didn't protect me. It just kept me wondering why no one was showing up for me the way that I was showing up for them. And oh, if you're a Gen X girl, this isn't just a personality trait. It's our generational trauma wrapped up in a jean jacket and leg warmers. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about how we got here, how we learned this, because you might have had great parents, but we were still raised at a time in a way that has got us struggling here. Because here's the thing, nobody asked if we wanted to be a fixer. Nobody asked if this was the role we wanted to play. We just got that toolkit that we didn't fucking want passed down to us in childhood. I remember being 5 years old, waking up because I didn't want to bother my parents, pouring my own cereal, putting it on my strawberry shortcake tray, and watching the Muppets by myself. Now, there's nothing fucking wrong with that at all. But that's just one moment in thousands of where I learned that I just had to take care of myself. Our generation was raised alone a lot. Our parents went to work. Our mothers went to work. And I'm so thankful that they got to. But let's be honest, we were alone a lot. We made our own food. We got our own life lessons from TV. But most importantly, we observed everything. And we watched our mothers and our grandmothers fix everything. Dinner on the table at 6, even when they've worked a full day somewhere else. The holes in our jeans, making sure that we had what we needed, and reminding us to be a good girl today. Most of them didn't complain. They just did because that's what they saw their mothers do, and that's what their mothers saw their mothers do. That's what's been handed down to us generation after generation, really until us. We learned to push through because that's what we saw. We pushed through because someone had to. We pushed through because asking for help wasn't really role modeled. It was mistaken for weakness. And we pushed because tired was a luxury that we didn't feel entitled to. We certainly didn't see our mothers or our grandmothers rest. My mom is 80 fucking 3 and she still feels guilty for sitting down too long. And here's the crazy part. We also got rewarded for that kind of behavior, for being quiet, for being the good girl, for pushing it all down, for not having feelings. You're such a good girl. You're so mature for your age. You're so responsible. Go help your mother with this and this and this. We didn't get just compliments. We got our values reassigned. And the more we held it together, the more we learned how to overfunction, the more gold stars we collected for being easy to fucking deal with. They meant it as praise, but we absorbed it as pressure in our young brains. We took it in as we need to be perfect, perform well, and then we'll get to be loved. Don't have needs, don't make waves, smile, nod, deal with it. And for fuck's sake, make sure everybody else's needs, emotions are comfortable, but it doesn't matter if you're not. Does anybody relate to this? Does anybody else fucking feel this? Because I feel like here's the other thing as Gen X women. So we watched our mothers and our grandmothers take care of everything. And then we were the first generation told to be independent. We were the first generation to see that we had options. We saw that we didn't have to get married to be able to literally live, which is absolutely true. I've done multiple podcasts about it. And I love hearing the stories from my clients that have their mothers or their grandmothers secretly telling them, put some money away just in case the marriage doesn't work out. It's funny, but it's not so funny because they didn't have the options that we do. But it just became a different kind of pressure because we were encouraged to go after careers and build meaning and purpose in a way that women never could before, while also still being the mothers, the caretakers, the daughters, the wives, the partners, the friends, the sisters. And God knows if we complained about it. We were told, don't make a fuss. Better yet, who else heard, well, be grateful. I had it so much worse. That's the way our mothers said to us. I'm sorry that you're struggling. We were just told, well, this is better than I had it. I'm just going to be honest, that's not helpful. So in those moments, indirectly, we were taught that our feelings and needs were inconvenient. They were too much. And we became fluent in reading the room and staying quiet. And so we also got good at making things work and holding it all together and never being the problem. But here's the cost. We internalized that idea that we don't get to fall apart, that if we stop holding it all together, everything will collapse. That if we're not strong, what the fuck are we? Here's how I've seen that play out with some of my clients. People assume that you don't need support because you never learned how to ask. You became the emotional dump zone for everybody because they think you can handle it. And here's the truth that stinks a little. Being the strong one, being the fixer, being Barb the builder, the one who always swoops in and can help solve the crisis and make it look easy in the process. You and I both secretly know that's not strength. A lot of the time it's control. And control isn't necessarily about power. We're not intentionally trying to control everybody in our lives. I don't think that most of us are trying to overly control ourselves or the people in our lives or surroundings because we have nothing better to do with our time. We're doing it because control in our brain tracks as safety. We definitely grew up in a time, and we were not the first generation for this, but we were definitely alone a lot. And we started to learn that things could be unpredictable, scary, or emotionally unavailable. And we learned how to adapt. We figured out how to read a room in 3 seconds flat. We learned how to manage everybody else's emotions to avoid blowups or silent treatment or disconnection. We became really fucking good at being useful, needed, and low maintenance because when we couldn't feel safe, we would try to make it safe. And even if you had a family where you're like, I don't know, they seem pretty healthy, there wasn't a major problems, we were still being inundated with messages by magazines or TV shows of how to look or how to act at all times. If you want to be liked, let alone fucking loved, you better be easy and perfect. We didn't get to just be. We had to perform to not piss the people off in our lives so we could stay safe. So now as adults, we organize, we plan, we anticipate, we fix. Somehow, I even do that with fucking ADHD and perimenopause. And I don't know if you guys know this, and this is the kind of shit that I teach, but most of our limiting beliefs were created by the age of 7. And because we were left alone a lot of times, we were left to figure things out ourselves. So Danny, my amazing husband, he's talked about this a couple of different times, and I'm like, I think you need to talk about this in therapy. But how he remembers the day that the TV was rolled in to watch the Challenger take off. And of course, we know what happens. The Challenger blew up within a minute or two after it took off. And so these kids are watching it and cheering, and then it blows up and they're crying and nobody says anything. He was like, I was crying. The kids in my classes were crying. Nobody knew what to do with this. And nobody ever talked to him about it, his parents or anyone. And what that does is it forces our young brains to make up our own information. And you guys know that an 8-year-old does not have the tools to do that yet. So we learned if we can try to control the things around us, maybe we won't get as hurt. But it's exhausting and ends up being really lonely. Because while you're managing everything, you're also letting in a ton of fear, particularly of being vulnerable. And I just did a podcast about vulnerability. It's 2 episodes ago. Definitely go check it out. Because it's important to know that without vulnerability, there is no real love. We aren't like this because we want to be like this. We are like this because we learned that control was our protection, strength was our disguise, and fixing was our strategy to get attention and love. Because if there's one thing that I see Gen X doing really fucking well, is we are hustling for our worth. We are out there earning love. And just the other day, I was talking to one of my former clients, and she has met a guy and he seems really amazing and he's really kind, and she's starting to question it. And what I said to her was this: is this guy really too nice or too kind? Or are you so used to earning or hustling for love and worth that this feels too easy and it doesn't compute? And if you don't have to work for it or earn it, sometimes it doesn't feel real. That's a real fucking thing, guys. But you don't have to live in that place anymore. You can unlearn it and build something better and safer. Control isn't who we are. It's not. It's what we learn to survive. But now that you're in your 40s or even 50s, you're allowed to build your own safety without having to be the one to hold everything together, because we just can't. We just did a whole week in Thrive about what we can control and what we can't control. And honestly, it was a little mind-blowing. It was stuff that I hadn't done a ton of research on, and everybody was like, whoa, I guess I never really thought about that. But here's the great thing: because Thrive is a longer program, it's now an ongoing conversation. And we can check each other and make each other accountable for, can you control that? And if you can't, how do we move the fuck on? The thing is, controlling everybody around us, fixing everybody around us. We also do that because we think if we're not fixing things, what do we have to offer? If we're not making it better or prettier or easier on people, what's our role? Because that's what we saw our mothers do, our grandmothers do. But your role is that you get to fucking be you. Your role is that you, as a whole person, minus all of the trauma responses, is to realize you're lovable and worthy of love and community as is. I think one of the toughest parts about being Gen X and having to be the strong one is it's taught us that we have to do all of this shit alone. We've even been taught to heal alone. We hope that we can do it through podcasts or reading self-help books or Googling our shit at 3 a.m. instead of just sitting down and talking to somebody and saying, fuck, this is how I feel. Can you see the things that I can't? Can you help? Can you help me move through this in a way that I don't have to just keep shoving it down and hope it works itself out? Because it doesn't. I think our biggest trauma response to being the strong one is that it's left us alone. And fuck if I don't see on my retreats, in my programs, women healing as they hear each other's stories and they realize that other people are struggling with the exact same things and they are not alone. And all of the judgments or ideas that they had about who a person is gets blown out of the water when we realize that so many of us have been through similar experiences, are struggling with the exact same things. That's a fucking gift. So where do we go from here? If you're getting this, if this resonates, if you relate, here are a couple things you can do. Number one, check into your self-worth. I find that the people who are either the overgivers and doing everything for everyone all the time, or my isolators who are trying to solve everything themselves and shut down just to survive. Look into your self-worth. That's not self-esteem. That's not confidence. I'm actually going to come out over here tomorrow and break down what self-worth is and why most of us don't have it. And most of us aren't even building it on a daily basis. But I find that when we believe we are worthy of love, belonging, community, friendship with others without having to work our asses off for it, everything changes. When we don't look to others to make us feel special and okay, and we can give that to ourselves, shit changes. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to look at what you're trying to control on a daily basis. And is it working? Just a very quick reminder, we can't control other people, period. Being the strong one, that's actually a beautiful thing, but it works so much better when it's coming from inner strength, from self-worth, from emotional regulation. So you don't have to shut down or numb out every fucking time life gets too hard, which it does, especially in midlife. And if you don't want to do this work alone, and by the way, I don't think you should, because I think we all deserve experts to look at our lives and give us an outside perspective, to see the blind spots that we can't see. And by the way, that's a lot. I have people in my life to help me see the blind spots that I can't see in my personal life, in my business, in my health, all of it. My life has opened up when I realized that I wasn't going to die if I asked somebody for help. And then it got a shit ton better when I met Danny at 41, and with all of the knowledge that I've been teaching, really created a relationship where I don't have any shame asking for help. We are a team. We are a partnership. We are in this together. In the healing and the safety of that, fuck. I don't want to be the strong one anymore. I want to be the healthy one. I want to be the fun one. I want to be able to enjoy life and play and be connected and have great conversations with incredible people and have wonderful food and live a life that is not based in fear. That if I be myself or I live my life to the fullest, that I'm going to be judged or rejected. Fuck that noise. If you're ready to get support, get some help, that's what I do. And I particularly do exactly this stuff in the Thrive Midlife program, which, by the way, is on early bird as we speak. It is life changing, fucking life changing for 6 months. You are learning the skills and mindsets that you never learned that combats a lot of the shit that we have from growing up Gen X. It's specifically for Gen X women. And you get to do it with 14 other incredible women who are working on the same things as you. You learn skills, you learn mindsets, and then most importantly, we practice and apply because information is not transformation, my friends. You can know what to do to change, but if you're not doing it, then it's not working. The best part is you have me in your pocket every day to help you with scripts, to give you feedback, to give you pep talks during the toughest times, and help you build a true inner strength that's based on self-worth and grit and resilience and positive psychology, something that really creates a life that you want and that you're proud of. Sounds pretty good, right? Best part, we get to hang out in Madison and eat cheese and apples and tomatoes and go to farmers markets and pet goats if you want to. All right, guys, that is it for today. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, check out thrivemidlifeprogram.com. I'll see you soon. No more surviving. Let's thrive.